Hey everyone, it's Mr. J here. Just want to give you a quick overview of how Canvas is going to work for Principles of Engineering this fall. When you log into Canvas and you click on my course, you should come to this homepage or this landing page. Now it's going to look very similar to a lot of your other classes because we're all using a template to create these pages for you. But there are a few differences that I want to point out in my particular course. Number one, this is a personal preference thing, but on the right-hand side, I don't really love this menu. I think it kind of gets in the way of all the content that I've posted on the homepage. And so if you want to get rid of that, a quick way to do that is to just click on the Pages link over here. And that will take you to the front page, which will always be the active page for the course, the one that you want to be using at that time. And that just gets rid of all that stuff on the side. Now the buttons, again, are pretty self-explanatory. The Zoom button, I'm going to update this before every class. So for those of you who are learning at home or signing into Zoom, you should just be able to click this button and join our link without having to navigate to the left side here. Now, if that doesn't work, a great place to check is this Zoom link over here, but I hope to have that up and running before every class. Feedback and grades is pretty standard, shortcut to your grade book. The syllabus, you can click on this, and I do encourage you to read through the syllabus when you have a moment. I have a few tabs here. The front tab is the standard PDF of my syllabus, my course syllabus. It's got lots of information, contact info, a little bit about the course, my teaching philosophy, how you're going to be graded, and then the topics that we're going to be covering this term. And heading back up here to this tab, required materials, not much that you need for this course. A calculator will be handy to do some calculations, and a notebook. This is a particular notebook that I found on Amazon that works really well. There is such a thing as engineering paper, and this notebook has engineering paper layout. You can also get a pad of engineering paper. It's kind of like a yellowish, greenish pad that has a grid on one side and lines on the other. But a standard notebook will work just fine as well if you want to do that. And then as more materials become necessary for certain projects, I will post them here. This is the construction manual for the underwater ROV that we might adapt this term. It'll be slightly different from the project that we did last year, but that manual still is a valuable resource. So I'll put things like that here. You can see class policies and behavior expectations, pretty standard stuff. I don't need to go into it in a whole lot of detail here. So if we head back to the home page, a few more things that I want to show you. Okay, there's one more button. It's an About Me. You can click on that if you want to learn a little bit more about my background and what I do outside of class, my education, that sort of stuff, my experience. Scrolling down, we've got these accordion menus here. This is actually where this video is going to go. So that was just a random placeholder at the moment. Course description. Again, you can find that in the syllabus or right there. And then the course topics. And these are going to be the 4 units that we will cover this term. So we're going to start with the design process, engineering design process, and we're going to kind of use that throughout. Then we'll talk a little bit about sort of the engineering profession, sort of what the requirements are to become a licensed engineer, at least in the United States. We'll talk a little bit about ethics and what it means to be an engineer and to follow the engineering code. And then the last unit, which is the biggest unit, the most chunk of time, is going to be you kind of practicing everything that you've learned on an independent project. And we'll talk more about that when we get into class. But each of these is a link that will take you to another landing page that looks very similar to this, just with updated content for that particular unit. All right, moving down, 4 more tabs here. This is the information that is specific to each unit. A quick intro video to the unit here you can play. The unit objectives, so these are the skills and the content that we are going to learn in this first unit. Again, this one is all about the engineering design process. So those objectives are closely linked to that. And then this tab right here, this maroon tab, this is the most important tab that I want you to know about. This is the one that you're going to use the most often, both in and out of class. And so you really want to kind of zero in on this and pay close attention to it. It includes our daily plan, what we're going to do inside class or during class, whether you're at home or on campus. You can see the first day is going to be entirely synchronous. We're all going to kind of work through that first day together. And then after class, the things that you need to do, the assignments that you have, whether they're reading or term projects or whatever. And then going forward, we are probably going to split things out a little bit. We'll always start with a synchronous session. So we'll come together both on Zoom and in person and kind of catch up on things that we were talking about, go over homework, and get everybody kind of set for the plan going forward. And then we're going to go asynchronous a little bit most days. And so really, I want to dedicate your time on campus to working on the physical projects. I want to maximize your time there. So a lot of your time on campus is actually going to be very independent, where you're working through a project either on your own or with a partner. And then if you're at home that day, you're going to be working on some asynchronous work. So this is really going to vary. It's going to be a lot of different stuff. There you can kind of work on your portfolio for the class, which is a website that you're going to maintain to present your process for each project. There's some check-in, sort of quick formative assessment activities that we'll do to make sure you're getting the content that you need. And also a good time to work on your term project. And then another big thing that we will be doing, if we scroll down to day 4, I believe, is that we're going to be learning a CAD program. So that's a computer-aided design software. And most of this is going to occur asynchronously while you're at home. Onshape has a really good series of learning videos that they've produced. And so you're going to watch those. They're short. You're going to learn a skill. And then once we get good enough at it, you'll have some projects, some drawing projects, CAD projects that you can be working on asynchronously. So anyway, we'll talk more about that in class, but that's kind of the general overview. And if you need any information on what you're doing in or out of class, this is the place to go. Assignments will show up on your calendar, but you'll get a much more in-depth picture of what's happening if you come to this plan tab. Okay, moving on, we've got some important resources. This checklist right here is just a checklist of all the assignments that you need to complete during a unit. So this is the first unit right here, and you can see kind of how I've broken them out, whether they're just regular coursework or design process or term project assignments. But these are all of the assignments that you're going to complete during this unit. And then there's some information about the engineering design process, which is obviously specific to this unit, and a link to the Onshape course that we will be following, or this is one of the videos that we'll be looking at during the unit. And if you go over to the extension resources, this is right now, the only thing I've posted is kind of all of the introduction courses for Onshape that we'll be doing. So we'll get to these videos in the future, but if you want to kind of jump ahead or explore that in more detail, you can check out these links after you have done the first video. And so this page or this tab is very much optional. It's only if you're really looking for something to do or you want some more information kind of beyond what we're doing in class. So that is a quick overview of Canvas. We will get used to this. I will project this basically every day. We're going to be using this in and out of class. But if you have questions, Please let me know if you have ideas for how we can make this better, or if there's content that you want to see on here that is not on here. Please give me that feedback and we'll see if we can make it work. I look forward to learning and practicing some engineering with you all this term, and I will see you in class soon.